Shalom, brothers and sisters. Hope all is well. We are going to have a discussion about when is Passover with three different aspects to that. One, we have a controversial year this year to add a 13th month or to not add a 13th month. And then when it comes to when Passover actually is, Scripture tells us it's the 14th day at even, but when is that? Is that the start of the 14th day? Is that the end of the 14th day? So we're going to go through some scripture and we are going to figure this out just to help you guys with your own celebrations. And we're going to touch base on all of these aspects. One, when is it? Beginning of the day, end of the day. Two, if you had only 12 months this year, when your feast would fall. And then if you had 13 months this year, when would your feast fall? All right. So let's get into it. All right. We're going to start this off with the precept from Leviticus 23, which says, in the 14th day of the first month at even is Yah's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yah. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah 7 days. In the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. All right, so obviously Leviticus 23 is where we get all of the Most High's feasts, one after another. The Moedim, that is where we find them. They can be found in other sections of Scripture, but this has them all in chronological order. So that's where we are reading this from. All right, if we continue and go to the original Passover. So a lot of people get tripped up as to when in the day do we celebrate Passover, looking at the Last Supper, and was this a Passover meal? And, a lot of people get tripped up with that. But a few questions that we must consider. Does the Most High change? Malachi 3:6. I am the Lord, I change not. Right? So he does not change. His feast dates do not change. When they're celebrated does not change. So we can look to what happened with the Last Supper, but that does not dictate when the Passover was prescribed to be celebrated. From where I stand, the Last Supper was not a Passover meal. I know there are some that disagree with that, but it represented the Passover meal, but it was held at a slightly different time, because during the Passover, Yahusha had work to be doing on the cross, and he was up there at Passover fulfilling that Moedim. So if we look at the original Passover, which was in Egypt in Exodus 12, it says, and Yah spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And you shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein you shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. So this is giving us some of the precepts, how to do it, how this meal is to be carried out. Okay, eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, so not boiled, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. And thus you shall eat it with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is Yah's Passover. So you gonna be dressed. If you have a staff, you will have it in your hand. This doesn't mean everybody must have a staff. But anyhow, it says, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the false gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yah. All right, so this is breaking it down for us, right? But when in the day do we celebrate it? Okay. If we move ahead in Exodus 12, verse 33, it says, and the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And Yah gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. They're just getting, what they was owed, just a little portion of that. Continuing, and the children of Israel sojourned from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes of dough, which they brought out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. We're reading all this to get the proper understanding, because the original Passover, the lamb was slain on the 14th day at even. Okay, even is sundown. So is that sundown beginning of the 14th day into the 14th day? Well, when did the children of Israel come out of the land with the dough that was unleavened? That would have been the day of unleavened bread. Okay, so let us continue. It says, and it came to pass at the end of 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of Yah went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto Yah for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. This is that night of Yah to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations. And Yah said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover of Yah, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him who is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Thus did all the children of Israel, as Yah commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day, that exact day, that Yah did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. So again, they left the land on the first day of unleavened bread. Passover is the end of the 14th day, not the beginning of the 14th day. Okay? And I'm going to bring this out more clearly. I'm just kind of laying it out for what it is, just so you guys can understand. The first year I kept Passover 7 years ago, we kept it at the beginning of the 14th day. But the more I studied it and learned, I realized that that's not how it's prescribed to do. It is the end of the 14th day going into the 15th day. Passover is a meal more than a day itself. It's not a high Sabbath, right? The day is not a high Sabbath, but it's a meal transitioning from the 14th day to the 15th day to bring in the feast of unleavened bread. And we're going to bring this out. So let's just continue. Okay. This is the clearest way to do so. Here in Leviticus 23 and verse 26, this is speaking of the Day of Atonement. And if you know when the Day of Atonement is, that's the 10th day of the 7th month. Okay. It says, and Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you. You shall afflict your souls, an offering made by fire unto Yah. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yah your Elohim. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, that exact day, he shall be cut off from among his people. So this is very serious. And he tells you it is the 10th day that you must afflict your souls, right? We have some people going out saying that that doesn't mean to fast. I have some extensive teachings on this if you'd like to check those out. But fasting is definitely something we should be doing. But let us continue. Verse 30, and whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in the same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. Pay attention, everyone. And you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month. But I thought it's the 10th day. In the 9th day of the month at even, from even unto even shall you celebrate your Sabbath. So there's no contradiction here. It is the 10th day that is the Day of Atonement. But the 10th day starts at the 9th day at even. That's sundown on the 9th day coming into the 10th day. That is why it says in the 9th day of the month at even, from even to even. That's the entire 10th day. The 9th day at even is bringing in the 10th day. And then when you go to even again, that's the 10th day at even. If you started on the 10th day at even, you actually would be doing it on the 11th day of the month, not the 10th. Okay? So again, it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall you celebrate your Sabbath. He didn't say it was the 10th day, and now he's saying it was the 9th. No. Any given day at even is the end of that day. That's why earlier in Exodus, when we were reading, it says on the 10th day, they will bring their lambs, and then they will keep it until the 14th day. So it's already the 14th day. They've kept it until then. Then at even, at the end, towards the end of the day, supper time, is when they were to slay the lambs and do their thing with the blood and all that. All right, so understand that the 14th day at even is the end of the 14th day. Okay, that might be news to some. It was news to me. I get it. But that is what the scriptures say. I'm going to bring out another witness to show you, but this to me is the clearest way to prove this and show this. Okay, but let's continue. Going back to Exodus 12. Okay. It says, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to Yah throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Forever, ever? Forever, ever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread, even the first day. So by the first day shall you put away leaven out of your houses. We need to do that literally and spiritually. But anyhow, it says, for whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day unto the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation unto you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. Same thing we read in Leviticus 23. Let's continue. It says, and you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Okay, when? The day of unleavened bread, the 15th day. So they did Passover the end of the 14th day at even. That morning, it was the 15th day, first day of unleavened bread, and they were dipping. Okay, so on this same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. And in the first month of the 14th day, on the 14th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread, okay, until the 21st day of the month. So you don't have leaven in your houses for 7 days, and you actually eat unleavened bread for 7 days. From the beginning of the from the end of the 14th day to the end of the 21st day. That is 7 days. That's the whole feast of unleavened bread. That would be the 15th day, 16th day, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. 7 days. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. One law for all. This is not a strictly bloodline thing. Some disagree with that, and they are in error. But anyhow, it is a big deal, and it's a 7-day thing, right? For the whole feast of unleavened bread, starting at the 14th day at even, which is the beginning of the 15th day, transitioning until the 21st day at even, which is the end of the feast. Okay, we're going to look at some calendar screenshots and give some dates as to when these feasts would be coming up, depending on if you have 12 months or 13 months. Okay, I have a video that is coming out about our 13 months necessary, breaking this down and when they should be implemented. But let's take a look. Okay, so this is a screenshot from my calendar. In the month of May, if you see on Saturday the 2nd, it says Passover at sundown. Okay, that's the end of the 14th day. At sundown is Passover. It's starting the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, so the 14th day actually starts on Friday the 1st. And then the end of the 14th day at even, is the 2nd. Okay, so it's a 7-day period that you're eating it. So you're starting on the evening of the 2nd to the evening of the 3rd. That's 1 day. Evening of the 4th, 2, 5th, 3, so on and so forth. And that's the 7-day period. So the high Sabbath on Sunday the 3rd actually started on Saturday the 2nd at evening. So you have back-to-back Sabbaths at this time period. This is based off of, or this is the month of May, apologies. This is based off of a 13th month, which, if you understand the calendar and the equinox and new moons, you should have a 13th month this year. You should. Many won't, and they'll be forced to have it next year, and then everybody's feasts will realign. But there should be a 13th month this year. I believe it would be April 18th, is either 18th or the 19th. Apologies for not having that information on hand. I've posted these dates like months ago, but nonetheless, apologies. But these would be your dates based off of a 13th month. If you didn't have a 13th month and you only had 12, then your feast would be in April, at the beginning of April, okay? And it would be on April 2nd. April 2nd, April 1st would start the day, the 14th day of the month, but the 14th day at even would be April 2nd. That would start your Feast of Unleavened Bread, because it's a Passover is a meal going into the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So if you only had 12 months this year, your Passover would be the evening of April the 2nd, which is a Thursday, and that would start your feast. I don't have those dates on my calendar because we will be having a 13th month this year. Okay, the new moon is before the equinox, and because of that, you have a 13th month based off of what Enoch tells us, and applying the biblical calendar in the right way. So I just wanted to address these things, give you guys some dates. For argument's sake, if your Passover was the 2nd, which is a Thursday, that would start your Feast of Unleavened Bread. So day 1, the high Sabbath, would be from Thursday to Friday, even to even, and then you would have another Sabbath. You would have back-to-back Sabbaths there. And then you would have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-day period of eating of unleavened bread, which would end on Tuesday the 9th. So from the 8th to the 9th, you would have another high Sabbath. Okay, evening of the 8th to evening of the 9th would be your last day of unleavened bread and your last high Sabbath. And then first fruits would actually be Sunday the 5th right here. Sunday, April the 5th would be the day of first fruits, starting the 50-day count, the count of weeks, okay, that is also in Leviticus 23. So shalom to you all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yah. I hope this edifies somebody, and until next time, shalom.